Hi, my name is Kristen with K&A Marketing Consultants, and it's a pleasure to meet with you today. I think we have some really interesting insights to share with you. First of all, our company is very excited to work with you. As consultants, we use the data that you give us, we perform advanced data analysis techniques, and then we provide business and product recommendations for your company. We do specialize in marketing and sales strategies, which we'll touch on today. That said, we really focus on customizing our recommendations to your company. As one of the top brewers in the world, we know that Anheuser-Busch can compete in the industry and succeed. We always keep this in mind as we tailor our recommendations to you specifically. So let's get started. One of the first things we did as we began our analysis was to merge the beer and brewery datasets into one composite dataset. We wanted to show you a few entries of this merged data, since this is what we use to perform most of our analysis. So you can see here that there's lots of attributes recorded, and also note that the breweries are sometimes repeated because they often make multiple beers. Next, since you're looking to potentially launch new products in the US, you wanted to know how many breweries are present in each state. We found that the most breweries are located in Colorado, which has 47, and that was followed by California, Michigan, Oregon, and Texas. But there's actually at least 1 or 2 breweries located in every state, which means that you could partner with those wherever you end up launching your product. We believe this could help you target local consumers and raise sales in that way. Another thing we looked at was missing values in the datasets you gave us. Most of the variables were completely fine and filled in, but we did find that ABV, or alcohol by volume, had a few missing values, and that was around 60. But more concerning was that IBU, or International Bitterness Units, had around 1,000 missing values. This is actually around 40% of all the beers we have data on. So in the future, it would be helpful to gather this missing data so we can make inferences with as much information as possible. But we can still make very interesting observations based on the data that we do have. Next, you also requested to see the median alcohol content of beers for each state. As you can see, there's not a huge range in medians, since they all fall around the 0.04 to 0.06 range, and that corresponds to 4 to 6% alcohol content. Similarly, we made a bar chart for median IBU values by states. From this we can see that there seems to be a wider range of bitterness preferences across the states, and this is from around 20 to 60 units. Next, instead of medians, now we want to know the highest overall values for alcohol content and bitterness of beers through any state. So we found that the beer with the highest alcohol content has 12.8%, and that's brewed in Colorado. We also found that the most bitter beer is 138 IBUs, and that one is brewed in Oregon. Next, we created a box plot of the ABV variable to get an idea of how alcohol content is distributed. From this we can see that it's fairly symmetric, although there is a slight right skew based on the outliers on the higher end. But we see that the highest concentration of values falls in the 5 to 7% range. The final question concerned the relationship between ABV and IBU. We actually found that there is a positive linear relationship between the two variables. This just means that as bitterness increases, the alcohol content tends to increase as well. The correlation coefficient that we found was 0.67, and the corresponding p-value is very small, meaning that the linear relationship that we found is significant. After having processed through all this data, we do believe it would be profitable for you to launch a new product in the United States. This is because the beer industry is booming here, and you're certainly able to compete with the existing breweries. On that note, we think that you can introduce the new product in the top 10 consuming and producing states at first. While there may be a lot of competition, we know that your brands sell, and we're confident that those states will bring in high sales. We also think that your product should follow the linear relationship between IBU and ABV that we just saw, since those are the types of beers that continue to be brewed and sold. So, we look forward to hearing about your upcoming product decisions, and we will certainly follow up with you about your future needs as well. Thank you.